Sportsnet. Presented. Presented by Honda at the Model Clearout event. It's the best time to team up with a Honda you'll love.
Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland on a steamy night. It's 31 degrees and it feels like it's 42 on a humid summer night here in Baltimore. We're at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. First of 3 games against the Orioles. John Gibbons Blue Jays won 2 of 3 against the Phillies over the weekend. They lost yesterday, and the Phillies out-hit them for the 3-game series, but the Blue Jays won that series. Had a 5-1 homestand. Now they start out on a 6-game road trip. Take a look at the starting lineup for Gibbons Blue Jays. Billy McKinney has been a nice acquisition for this ball club. Since he's come from the Yankees, he's at .391 with 5 extra base hits, 3 homers, and 2 doubles, and he's driven in 9. And what can you say about Kendrys Morales? A 10-game hit streak, plus the fact he's homered in 7 straight games, and he's hit .500 during those 10 games with 8 home runs and 15 RBIs. He's a red-hot hitter. Going to be a tough lineup for David Hess.
It's almost like the ball's sitting out on a tee for Kendrys Morales, and he's whacking it over the fence every day. David Hess, 15 games this year. This is his 14th Major League start. Originally selected by the Orioles in the 5th round of the 2014 draft, he spent time through 5 minor league levels for the Orioles, climbing the ladder. Finally got to the big leagues here at the beginning of May of this year. Last time out, he suffered his 8th loss. That was to the Blue Jays. Gave up just 1 run on a home run by, guess who, Kendrys Morales. It's the 6th time receiving no runs of support in a start this season. He just hasn't had anything to work with.
The Orioles have had a terrible season. There's no question about it. They begin play tonight 52.5 games out of first place. No team has ever finished a season more than 52 games back in the divisional era. Curtis Granderson will step in. He'll lead things off for the Blue Jays here tonight. Granderson batting .242 on the season. Hess is set. Here's the first pitch of the game. It's downstairs for a ball, and we are underway. The Blue Jays have won 12 of the 13 games they have played against Baltimore this season, including their last 10 in a row.
Completely have owned this team this year. It's a couple of years ago, the Orioles reversed that, and they were tough against the Blue Jays, but John Gibbons' team have done everything they could this year to do it right to beat Buck Showalter's team.
3-0 for Granderson to start this ball game as Hess falls behind.
Hess was actually pretty good against the Blue Jays last time he faced them. Career high 7 innings. He also had 7 strikeouts and just 1 earned run. That run we talked about, the home run by Kendrys.
Hess pitched in that 3rd game of that series at Toronto. There are the numbers from that loss. Fly ball into shallow right. Beckham, the second baseman, is out. He gives way to Jones. That was VR, of course, the second baseman. Jones makes the catch in right. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense for the outfield. New look in center field for Baltimore. It's always been Adam Jones. It's not the case anymore.
Yeah, you've got a young player, very speedy, a very good glove. Did not play in yesterday's game with a hip injury, but Cedric Mullins is going to be taken over in center field for the rest of the year, probably for the next 10 years. He is a very exciting player, a very good defender out in center field.
That's what they hope for sure. Here is Billy McKinney. I mentioned his great start with the Blue Jays. 9 for 23 with a pair of doubles. His first 2 doubles in his career came yesterday. He did not have a major league double until the 3rd inning yesterday against the Phillies.
He is looking better and better every day, a little bit more comfortable at the plate. First thing you notice when you watch him hit, he's got a great strike zone awareness. He understands what is a strike, what his strengths are. Tell you what, Blue Jays got a good player from the Yankees.
Well, he had a good cut on a 2-0 fastball, fouled it straight back to the screen. Here are the numbers for his last 6 games. Those 2 doubles came in yesterday. He has seen Billy McKinney showed power. He's hit a couple of long home runs to deep center and left center.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a home run type of hitter, but when he times it up, they can go a long way. Classic left-handed type of swing. Very short, not real long in his swing, and that's where he gets his power.
Of course, the man on deck is the man of the hour, Kendrys Morales. He's standing on deck. Kenny hits it on the line to center. Mullins moves to his left and makes the catch. 2 away, and here comes Kendrys Morales. He has homered in 7 straight games, 1 shy of the major league record. 3 other players have homered in 8 straight. Dale Long, Don Mattingly, and Ken Griffey Jr.
He has zoomed past Justin Smoke to take over the team lead now with those 21 home runs, and everything. It's really simple. He's getting good pitches to hit, and he's not missing them.
Inside with the fastball.
Over the last 8 games, we have seen teams try to pitch him differently. The Yankees series, that was fastballs away, if you remember that, at Yankee Stadium. A lot of other teams tried to pound him inside with fastballs. They've tried breaking balls, and every time they make a mistake, he's been over and all over everything.
One thing that's consistent is the way the defense plays him, especially on the infield. 3 defenders on the right side of second base. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball that hung up there, and I tell you what, he's hit some hanging breaking balls for home runs during this streak.
Off of Hess, he hit a hanging breaking ball from David Hess, who will give up his share of home runs. First innings have been tough for the Orioles. First innings have been tough for David Hess. He's given up the most runs this season in the first inning.
Fastball, he covers that outside pitch and fouls it.
Well, you talk about Kendrys Morales, and, well, where are the pitches? Well, there's the mistakes. As a left-handed batter, look where all those pitches are. Up, center, cut, and he's not missing them. When you're not hitting well, you're fouling those balls back, or you're popping them up into the infield. Right now, he is squaring him. His bat is coming through that plane and staying through that hitting plane a very long time.
1-2 pitch. Another fastball, he fouls it off. That lone home run he hit as a right-handed hitter came off Jay Happ in New York. That's when the streak started for Morales. You can see all his teammates standing at the top step, trying to get a first-hand view if something should happen in this at-bat, that he would hit his home run.
He's fouled off a couple of fastballs. He's been late on them. There's another fastball. They wanted to crowd him with that one, but it got away. But he looks like he's looking for some type of breaking ball here, the way he's swinging against those fastballs.
Yeah, like he's just getting the bat on the ball to stay alive, and he's looking more for an off-speed pitch. There's the breaking ball. Had it timed up pretty well, didn't he?
He saw it. Did you see Caleb Joseph saying, "I want this one in the dirt"? That was the pitch that Kendrys was swinging at earlier this year, where he got off to a horrible start for the Blue Jays. Now he's laying off of it. He wants another one down.
He got it where he wanted it that time. A strikeout. A good start for David Hess. 3 up, 3 down. Sam Gavilia will take the mound when we come back to Baltimore. This is all about teaching right now. Their ball club has won just 37 games. He says, we're going to have instructional league right here in the big leagues, and he's got a lot of coaching to do, and he knows it's going to be kind of a tough finish to this season. Jonathan VR, his numbers against the Blue Jays have been pretty good. The second baseman with 9 extra base hits and 12 RBIs in 22 career games against the Jays. And down in the DH spot tonight, Trey Mancini against the Blue Jays has also hit well, over 300. He too has 11 extra base hits and 8 RBIs.
They get another shot at Sam Gaviglio, making his 19th start of the season. Sam, last time out, pitched against these Orioles and beat them. He was masterful. 7 innings. He only gave up 2 earned runs, had 7 punch-outs and 1 walk. That ended a 15-game streak without a winning decision, pushing his record to 3-6. Third time he's faced the O's this season.
Cedric Mullins takes a first pitch strike from Gaviglio. Mullins hitting .309 for the season, 2 homers and 5 RBIs.
He can really run, and that's why Russell Martin way in at third base. Russell trying to take away that bunt hit. Just get right in his face. Make him swing the bat. Everybody else on the infield has shortened up also because of the speed that he possesses.
He has that dimension of speed. The Orioles, like the Blue Jays, haven't had a whole lot of speed recently. Mullins has recorded a hit in 10 of his last 15 games since coming up from the minor leagues. Ground ball, you better hurry. Diaz unloads in a hurry. Nice play by the shortstop. Boy, he's playing a double play depth to begin with. And that ball in the hole, he had to unload in a hurry. Makes a nice play in support of Sam Gaviglio.
That's why I wanted to show how the left side was shortened up, because he just sprays the ball, just get it on the ground and tries to outrun the baseball. Diaz does a good job of shortening up first of all, then catching it on the backhand. He knows he doesn't have time to plant and throw, so let me use that strong arm and throw on the run and get the first out. Sam Gaviglio appreciates the effort.
Diaz has played very well at shortstop, and he's played equally good at third base. He's done a nice job over there. Here is Jonathan VR. Swings at that changeup. Gaviglio's made some adjustments on his changeup recently. He throws it with a split grip, but now he's raised the thumb up to the side of it, and he's getting more dramatic movement on it down.
Wasn't happy with the way he was throwing his changeup before.
It was inconsistent. It was spinning at times, much like a breaking ball. Pete Walker suggested the adjustment, and Gaviglio used it very effectively. He got about 5 outs in the start last time out with him.
What I love about him, he's a strike thrower. He's got to use that fastball, and he's got to keep it down and put it on the corners, but I think he has to put fastball in his mind, and that's going to make all his other pitches effective. He hasn't thrown in one off-speed pitch to VR here.
Luke Maile back behind the plate. That slider bounced in the dirt. Maile starting for the 52nd time this season, as you see Adam Jones, the right fielder, on deck.
Trying to get that 2-seam fastball grip. Been known to come inside and freeze some of these left-handers with that fastball.
Take a look at the defense behind Gaviglio. He'll get his share of ground balls, but also, like we mentioned with the Orioles, the Blue Jays have a different look in center field tonight with Randall Grichuk out there.
He's been a great defender all year long. I think that's been the biggest surprise for me, is how well he has played. Center field, right field, it doesn't matter. He has done it all. He's had 3 outfield assists. He hasn't made an error this season. Wherever they put him, he's going to give you a solid effort. Right now, he is working with his outfield of Granderson and McKinney, trying to get their attention to bunch Adam Jones in the middle of the field.
Jones, a .278 hitter, and he takes the first pitch strike. One thing the Blue Jays have really done well this season is they've played great infield defense. They've committed just 36 errors on the infield. That's the fewest in the American League. Larry Rivera deserves a lot of credit because he's had to mix and match a lot of different players all over the diamond, but the infield has played very well.
I think that tells you kind of team that they've had. There goes VR. Ooh, he had it stolen. All the mixing and matching, like you say, think about all the infielders that the Blue Jays have played with this year. Gurriel, Donaldson. Since May, we haven't seen Tulowitzki. Those were supposed to be the number one infielders. They've had a lot of guys out there, and they've done a good job.
They have had 7 different third basemen start at third. They've had 9 shortstops start. They've had to mix and match all season long, and all the while not committing many errors. 0-2 to Jones. Ground ball broken back. Diaz will shovel quickly to Travis, back to first, and there's that double play. Well, Gaviglio got a double play on that changeup, and that's what he's been looking for. Consistency with that off-speed pitch.
Morales could make history, and it's hard to believe it's the same player we're talking about who struggled as mightily as he did in the opening month of the season. And if Morales is to go yard tonight, take a look at the company he is about to join. Some Hall of Famers right there on your screen, and that's why this could be a special evening at the ballpark. Now, to many of his teammates, what's made this so fun is the kind of example that Morales has been. Few get to the park earlier than he does. Fewer take younger players under their wing the way Kendrys does. And it was Curtis Granderson who said, the coolest part is now we get to appreciate a guy who had struggled, enjoy this ride. Mechanically of late, Morales is staying inside the baseball, keeping his hands in tight and finishing through the baseball, which has helped his bat path and to keep this remarkable streak going. Guys?
Thank you very much, Rash. Boy, it's a special week he has been on, this great run. But Morales is a great influence. We talk about the influence he has on Latino players, but there's Billy McKinney picking his brain. He walked over to him, tapped him on the shoulder as if to ask him about his previous at-bat. But he is like the Yoda. He goes to everybody and they will listen to what he has to say.
Just watch him in between the bats when he's sitting. Who comes and sits around him? If you pull out from that shot, look at all the young players who have camped out right next to Kendrys Morales, and the guy next to him, Curtis Granderson. Not a bad idea to learn something from them and talk about this game and maybe pick their brains just a little bit.
Yeah, when you're sitting there watching a pitcher work one of your hitters over and you say, what do you think he's going to throw next? And those types of conversations are invaluable. Why would you look for that pitch in that situation? What are you thinking about? Well, I've watched him now. He's not locating his fastball yet. He's going to use his off-speed pitch. Those types of conversations for young hitters are like gold.
Even talking about how he's setting up certain hitters, the pitcher, is there something you see in that pitcher's windup that might give away what he's throwing? I think every pitcher does something different when they throw different pitches. Let's say they're in the windup and they might throw their hands up higher on a breaking ball. And guys who have been around understand that, and they can look and find that kind of stuff. Young players, they don't know what to look for.
You can see by Smoke's reaction, he thought that ball was off the plate inside. Second strikeout of the ball game for David Hess. That's a breaking ball. It's the same pitch that Hess got Morales with to end the top of the first.
So if you're a left-handed batter, maybe you start thinking about that. Hey, they got Morales, they got Smoke with that 2-strike slider down and in. Been hit hard.
This is Randall Grichuk. First pitch curveball in there for a strike. Randall hitting in the 5th spot tonight. His average at 232. 18 homers and 45 runs driven in. There's that slider. He's starting to feel comfortable with that right now. You know, pitchers, they have tendencies to go to a pitch that's working for them very early. If he's got the slider right now, he might throw that a little more often early in this game.
For the Blue Jays, what, over the last 3 or 4 years, whenever they would come into this ballpark right here, they were dominant, the Orioles, with a lot of tough right-handed pitchers, and they would dominate the Blue Jays right-handed batters by keeping the fastball away and the slider away. Ubaldo Jimenez, Gosman, Bundy, those are just some of the righties that really ate up the Blue Jays.
Chris Tillman.
Chris Tillman would do the same thing.
Yep. Fastball slider away, keep him out of the power part of the strike zone. 2-2. Another pitch away. This is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. The power alleys aren't that deep. Great hitter's background. It just makes you feel like you could hit, like those seats are very reachable no matter where you hit the ball.
And on a hot, humid night here, you've been here a lot longer than I have. The ball really flies, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And it is hot and humid tonight. There's that slider again. 3 strikeouts in a row for Hess, all coming on the slider.
And they wanted to keep everything away that time to Randall Grichuk. Fastballs away, sliders away. You can see Caleb Joseph, the catcher, setting up just off the plate and then coming back to catch that slider.
First pitch strike to Aledmus Diaz. Diaz has had some big hits lately. Yesterday he was 1 for 4, but he had a big bases clearing double in the 8th inning, the game winner against the Phillies on Saturday.
Gotta like what you see from David Hess. I mean, he'll give up his share of fly balls and he'll give up his share of home runs. That was a career high 7 innings he pitched against the Blue Jays last time out. Just pounding that strike zone with the fastball. His slider, they're only hitting .218 against him this year.
Breaking ball stayed up out over the plate, and Mullins is waiting in center. Diaz is retired on the fly ball. David Hess has faced the minimum through 2 innings with 3 strikeouts.
Just log into My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ6432 to earn My Blue Jays points for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m. Guys?
Thank you very much, Rash. And you can see the Blue Jay fans, no matter where we go, no matter how few fans are in the ballpark, there were always Blue Jay fans around. They made their way here to Baltimore, to the Inner Harbor area of Baltimore. Chris Davis will lead things off for the Orioles. Davis kind of reflects the overall situation here in Baltimore with his batting average. He's hitting 167. This is an unbelievable season for a guy that's a two-time home run champ.
Yeah, in 110 games.
This one is going to drop. Curtis Granderson will come over and play it on a hop. Davis hit one off the end of the bat. A leadoff single here in the second.
It's just been a miserable season for Chris Davis. Power all over the place, but strikeouts galore this year. Right off the end of the bat, he is so strong. Little backup slider that stays out over the plate. He hits it off the end of the bat, doesn't get all of it, but strong enough to get it into the outfield. That's the biggest mystery on this team, what has happened to Chris Davis offensively.
Trey Mancini is the DH tonight. Normally plays in left field. He has played some first base as well. Pretty good power production for Mancini. 18 doubles, 18 home runs. And for his career, he's hit over 300 against the Blue Jays. Fly ball lifted into right field. Anderson coming in. He makes the catch. Mancini's retired, run away.
This is a different type of team, the Baltimore Orioles, than the one that we have watched over the last few years. The last few years when they were getting into the playoffs, it was a rock 'em, sock 'em, smash the ball out of the ballpark type of team. Well, those guys are gone now. Now they're more small ball. Let's try and steal some bases. Maybe we'll hit and run a little bit more. Try to manufacture some runs. They're still having trouble scoring runs. But it's a different team for sure.
In 2016, these two ball clubs met up in the American League wild card game. That ball gets away from Maley. He's not sure where it is, and that'll take the Orioles out of a double play situation. Ball in the dirt, just got away from the catcher. It'll be a wild pitch charge to Gaviglio.
Oh, and that hurts, especially the way that Gaviglio can get his share of ground balls. Slider right off the heel of the glove. And once it bounces away from Maley, he can't pick it up. Davis can move up.
Jim Beckham's the batter, the shortstop, batting .219. He moved into the shortstop position on a regular basis. He made some trades as Manny Machado was dealt to the Dodgers on the 18th of July. And you talk about those big bats that were part of that team in 16. Mark Trumbo hit 47 home runs. Chris Davis hit 38 home runs. Manny Machado hit 37. Jones had 29. Scope had 25. Pedro Alvarez had 22, and the catcher Matt Wieters had 17. They had a lot of thunder in their lineup.
How many do they have left on this team? Davis and Jones. I mean, they've made a habit of stirring things up against the Blue Jays, but that's what I mean. They're not that type of team anymore. You've got the Beckhams and the VRs and the Mullins, guys who are going to spray the ball around the field and try to use their speed to score runs.
3-0 to Beckham. He got the green light. Kind of unusual that you would give him a green light. 3-0. He's got 8 home runs on the season. He's not a real power hitter. But Gaviglio still has enough movement on that pitch. He got the swing and miss from Beckham.
You know, and that's why you have to understand who you are. If you get the green light 3-0 and you're not a home run hitter, you don't have to take a big wild swing like that. Just make solid contact. You're going to get a good pitch to hit.
John Russell, the bench coach there with Buck Showalter on the Orioles bench.
You know, you mentioned it very briefly last inning about instructional league, and you weren't kidding about that. Buck Showalter told us today. We were talking to him around 5 o'clock. He says, guys, I got to go in. We have instructional league. And we're like, wait a minute, instructional league? What are you talking about? They have times where they're teaching their young players how to play the game of baseball.
Yeah. They go over the previous game or two. They'll talk about what the team did to win it and what the team did to lose it, and all those things you have to cover up and things that should be done in the minor leagues. Ground ball. Travis knocks it down from his knees, throws in time at first base. Nice play by Devin Travis. Well, there's the aspect of the good infield play we were talking about. As we mentioned, Blue Jays have committed just 36 errors on the infield, and that looked like it had a chance to be a base hit for Beckman.
That ball skidded right off of the grass and stayed low. A good job by Devin to stay down, smother it, and come up throwing to get the out over at first base. Look where he caught that ball, behind him. Then the presence of mind to fire a strike over to first base to get the out.
2 away now. Davis is now at third. This is Renato Nunez, the third baseman. Goes after that first pitch and fouls it straight back. Nunez did not have a lot of fun facing Gaviglio last time out. He was 0 for 3 against Sam with a couple of strikeouts. He never really could pick up that slider from Gaviglio.
Keep throwing it then. If he can't pick it up, just keep throwing it. Nunez is one of those young players that are up here trying to learn at the big league level. He was out here early today working with Bobby Dickerson on ground balls at third base.
There's that slider off the end of the bat. Long run for McKinney. He's going to get there. Gaviglio gets a nice play on the infield and a good play in left field by Billy McKinney. After 2, no score in Baltimore.
And it's Russell Martin who's playing third base tonight with the absence of JD. It's been a contract year, and it's been a nightmare for Donaldson with free agency beckoning. Only 36 games played for someone who had been one of the most durable players in all of baseball. So next, rehab assignment tomorrow in Florida at Single A Dunedin. The Blue Jays will decide what to do from there. If they want to get him through waivers before the trade deadline, they must do so by Wednesday. So not a lot of time to see just where Donaldson is with health and production. This was the last Donaldson played, of course, with the Blue Jays. That was May 28th in Boston when his calf barked on him. And Buck, we have not seen him here since.
Now, he had troubles all season long. He had a shoulder issue coming out of spring training. He had a calf problem a couple different times, and well, it's been a disappointing season for sure for Josh Donaldson. High fly ball hit into center field, right at the edge of the warning track. Mullins waits for it. Russell Martin retired on the high fly ball to center. 7 in a row retired by Hess.
You know, it's encouraging with JD starting an assignment down in Dunedin now, getting back out there to play. He's missed 18 games that first time he was on the disabled list, 76 more with that issue with his calf.
In his absence, the Blue Jays have used 7 different starters at third base. That's what's so remarkable about the fact they have committed the fewest errors on the infield in the American League. And you got to give Luis Rivera a lot of credit for that. He's kept them in the right position. He makes sure they get their work in every day. And the infielders, no matter who they are, have played very well.
Some of those third basemen, Narvis Solarte, feeling better. And he's getting a little bit better. We saw that shot of Brandon Drury. He's wearing glasses now. And the cast will be coming off soon.
Manley gets a base hit on a slider. That's the first hit first base runner for the Blue Jays.
The 2018 Honda CR-V, where style and versatility come together.
Baltimore, Maryland on a hot summer night. Luke Maile gets the first hit for the Blue Jays. First man to reach base. A 2-out single. Check that, a 1-out single. Martin flying out to center field to start the end. This is Devin Travis. He's in the 9th spot. Devin at .229 for the season. 10 homers and 40 driven in. Back out of play. The Blue Jays have 10 players with 10 or more home runs. That's a franchise record for the most players with 10 or more home runs in a season. Henrys Morales in his recent hot streak has taken the team lead with 21. Justin Smoke has 19. Pitchick and Hernandez both have 18, and Solarte, Diaz, Granderson, Martin, Pilar, and Dave Travis all have double-digit home runs. Missed way up and away.
Well, now they can hit their share of home runs, but it's in these types of counts here, 1 and 2. I'd like to see the Blue Jays do a better job of maybe cutting their swing down just a little bit more. Sacrifice some of that power for a better at bat. Maybe get yourself a base hit. Send that runner over to third.
Off-speed pitch popped up between the mound and first base. Davis, the first baseman, makes the catch. Travis is retired. The Blue Jays have 177 home runs. That's the 5th most in the majors, and they lean heavily on the long ball to provide their runs.
Yeah, the Yankees are #1 where they get their runs from. The percentage of runs scored via the home run. The Yankees get about half of their runs of that. Blue Jays right behind them at almost 47% of their runs scored coming off of the home run. Home runs are great. They'll keep you in games. They'll help you win games late, but you're not going to hit a home run every single time up. When you get to 2 strikes, maybe shorten up just a little bit. Curtis Granderson does it as well as anybody, I think, on this team, his 2-strike approach.
He's got another left-handed hitter that does the same thing right behind him in Billy McKinney. McKinney chokes up all the time, and he's got great bat control. Granderson takes a strike. It's 1-1.
He comes from that era, just Curtis Granderson, where it wasn't a good thing to strike out. Guys would get on you a little bit if you struck out.
Look out. Got away from that inside hitter. Yeah, there were times when I'd come back to the dugout and Kyle McCray, George Brett, Doc Count, somebody say, "Are you trying up there?" Yes, I am.
Unfortunately, yes, I am. Yeah, but you got to do whatever it takes to try to put that ball in play. If you put it in play, something good could happen.
Yeah, we have heard that from Dave Dombrowski, the president of the Red Sox. He says, "I hate strikeouts. Nothing good happens when you strike out. There's no pressure on the defense to make a play. The runner can't move up. Everybody is stagnant. It's just a real boring part of the game."
If you put it in play, 3 things are going to happen. You're either going to get hit, an out.
And a little looper into center. Mullins gauges it, and that'll end the inning. Granderson flies out to center field. Blue Jays finally break through against David Hess. Maley with a 1-out single. Still no score. A lot of pennant race baseball coming up, and we'll have some more of it for you on Wednesday afternoon. It starts 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. That's 11 a.m. Pacific Time. The Mets are in Chicago playing the Cubs at Wrigley. Jason Vargas, the left-hander for the Mets. Alec Mills, the right-hander for the Cubs. He's making just his second big league start. First came up with the Kansas City Royals back in 2006. He's making his second start of the season for the Cubs.
How about Cole Hamels? How well he's been pitching for the Cubs. What a pickup.
There's some guys that are really doing a nice job all around baseball that have been picked up and created a little spark for their respective clubs. Chase Peterson playing in left field today. He's their super utility player. He plays all over the ballpark. He's in left field. Takes another strike. Well, this is when Gavidia's at his best, when he's throwing strikes with all three of his pitches.
And note where those pitches are. On the edges, up, down. This one should be down and in. A little bit too much. Been a nice addition, I think, for the Blue Jays. They got him late at spring training. One of those, oh, okay, that's good. Let's build some depth down in the minor leagues for our team. But when they needed a starter, he's come up and he's given them some good games this year.
That he has, and you're right, he's not overpowering. He understands who he is, which is always important. He knows he can't throw the ball down the middle of the plate. But when he's making his pitches and hitting his spots, he's very effective. That'll be out of play down the left side.
I think the first thing you like to get from your starting pitcher is you don't want him to be hurt, you want him to pitch. Be durable, be able to go out there and make your start every fifth day, and that's what Sam's been able to do for the Blue Jays. His first start was back in May against Oakland. He pitched into the 6th inning, and he's made every one of his starts since.
There's another ground ball. Travis comes and shovels to smoke in time. Peterson's retired. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. If I'm correct, I believe that's the last home game for the Buffalo Bisons this season. I think they go on the road after this and finish up on the road. Caleb Joseph, the catcher, takes a first pitch strike.
And it's probably the last time we see Vlad playing this season. He's not going to be called up in September.
There's a sharply hit ball through the infield out into center. Second hit for the Orioles. Caleb Joseph with a 1-out single. Yeah, Guerrero, no matter what happens the rest of the way, what a season he has had. And it includes some extensive time on the DL. But fortunately, that injury wasn't more serious than it ended up to be. And he was able to come back and pick it up right where he left off.
Does he still have a chance to hit 400? I mean, something that hasn't been done for, gosh, a generation.
There's a bunt up the third baseline. Martin barehands throws in time. Tell you what, Russell Martin has played flawlessly at third base. He's handling everything thrown his way.
We showed it in the first inning when Cedric Mullins was up, how Russell was going to try and take that bunt away. Mullins said, I don't care where you're playing. I'm going to lay one down, and you're going to have to make a play to throw me out. And Russell does just that. Look how close he is at third base. Reads the bat, and watch him throw and then finish that play. He threw off balance, and he threw a strike over to first base and then went tumbling after the play. It's a great feeling when you make a play like that and get a fast runner. He's had 6 errors all season long and only 1 of them at third base. You mentioned all the third basemen that the Blue Jays have had this year, and they've all played great defense.
Jonathan Villar. He takes the first pitch strike. Villar walked his first time up. Mullins is credited with a sacrifice bunt as he moves the base runner Joseph into scoring position. No score in the ball game. We're at the bottom of the third inning. 2 outs. Jonathan Villar, the number 2 hitter in the Orioles lineup. Big swing and a miss at that breaking ball. You mentioned Gaviglio and how rock solid he has been. This is his 19th start of the season, and he's had his rough patches, and you know, he had a long stretch, 15 starts without a win, but he has given them some good innings. It's another slider.
You know what he's done? He's come back. He's bounced back after those rough outings. There were a couple of starts where he went 2 2/3 at Oakland, an inning and 2/3 at Atlanta, 3 1/3 at Tampa Bay. He's had his problems on the road, but he's bounced back after those short outings. He'll follow him up with pitching into the 6th inning, pitching 7 innings at Detroit. Yeah, that's the sign of a pro, that you can put the past behind you very quickly. When you pitch poorly, come back and throw a gem.
Here's the 0-2 again, and inside. There's the throw to second, but not nearly in time. Joseph is back easily, standing up. So now it's 1-2 to the batting. And of Joseph, the catcher, who's trying to shorten him up there at second. He's obviously trying to work for a big lead in this scoreless game. He'll be off on the crack of the bat with 2 outs.
You can do that with 0-2 pitch. You can waste one. A fastball. That's just a little show me pickoff play at second base.
Off Gaviglio and bounces towards Smoke. Sam stays with it and gets him at first. Well, what a play. A determined effort by Gaviglio. He got hit on the comebacker, and he stayed with the play. Smoke did a nice job of recognizing Gaviglio was going to get to the baseball. And here's the swing, a line drive right back to the pitcher.
Yeah, I don't know if it hit his glove. Let's hope he did. And then shovels it over to Justin Smoke for the out. And then he takes a tumble over at first base. The Orioles are going to want to look at this one. Looks like he might be safe, but what a play by Gaviglio to momentarily get out of the inning. But the Orioles, they do a good job of this, understanding, you know, when to look at the plays, and from that replay, it looked like he might have been safe over at first base.
Yeah, Villar extended his left hand and may have got the bag before Smoke caught the baseball.
So Gaviglio is going to have to regroup. Just shovels it over to Smoke, can see he's on the bag right there before the ball hits the leather of the glove. That should be an easy call for the umpires. VR can really run.
Yeah, they overturned the call on the field. Joe West is the crew chief, and we could see that he had beaten the throw to first base. So it was initially ruled the third out of the inning. It'll be a infield hit for VR.
Smoke tried to sell that one, didn't he, to the umpire, but it doesn't matter anymore. Now VR can really run, like I said, over at first base. He has been successful in his last 11 stolen base attempts, and now Sam Gaviglia's got to regroup.
So he took a tumble in that dirt over near first base after he had unloaded the flip to Smoke. So now he's got to get his mind back in that competitive mode. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Adam Jones, the number 3 hitter. Jones hit into a double play to end the bottom of the first.
Concentrate on that hitter. The guy at first base, you know he's going. At some point in this at bat, VR is going to try and steal second base. There's 2 outs, so concentrate on that hitter.
VR's running. Jones takes. There's the throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base number 20 for Jonathan VR. Boy, he was leaning all the while, and Gaviglio just too slow to the plate to give Maley a shot.
We got a huge lead, and credit Adam Jones for taking that pitch, giving VR a chance to steal. Look how far off of first base he is, and he steals it easily.
But now there are 2 runners in scoring position for Jones. He's behind in the count 0-1. Gaviglio throws him a good slider. No score in the ball game. The Orioles threatening here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. The Blue Jays have won 12 of the 13 games these 2 teams have played this season, including 10 in a row. They've won their last 10 games against the Orioles. Well, that's a good time to throw that fastball after he chased the slider. You could see how late Jones was, and it was only 89 miles an hour. Good shot. Good call by Maley. He had thrown the fastball the previous pitch, and everybody in the ballpark's expecting a slider to follow that up.
I think Adam Jones was expecting a slider based on that swing that he had, that he fouled off that high fastball. It's like he's sitting on something off speed. They tried to sneak a fastball by him. He's become a very good run producer.
Bit of a tough spot for Gaviglio. Good hitter at the plate in Jones. A 2-2 count with 2 outs. Slider. They have broken his bat. Martin takes his time, and the inning is over. The Orioles hit a couple of singles. They strand a pair. We'll go to the 4th. Kendrys Morales looking for that home run in 8 straight, will be the second man to come up here when we come back to Baltimore. done 3 times. Dale Long of the Pirates did it in '56. Don Mattingly of the Yankees in 1987, and Ken Griffey Jr. of the Mariners in 1993. Kendrys Morales, who bats second this inning, has a chance to match those 3 players as the only players in history to hit home runs in 8 consecutive Major League games.
And it's only been done 3 times in the Major League history. By 3 different players. There they are right there. Kendrys Morales has a chance to become the 4th. It's so rare. There's been more perfect games in Major League Baseball than a player who's hit a home run in 8 straight games.
Well, it's really kind of interesting. It's rare to have an 8-game hit streak, and to have 8 games in a row with home runs is remarkable. When Dale Long had his 8-game hit streak, he was 15 for 30 with 8 home runs and 19 RBIs. That was for the Pirates, as we mentioned, in 1956. He was a first baseman. All 3 of those other players were left-handed hitters. Billy McKinney makes the first pitch strike. McKinney lined out to center field, his only time up. McKinney told me earlier today he was a 3-sport player in high school. Then he broke his collarbone playing football, so he decided that wasn't going to be a sport for him. But his #1 love was basketball. But then he said, you know, I realized I wasn't going to be a star basketball player, but I really loved it. And he rips this one down in the corner. It's going to be extra bases. McKinney's around first. He's headed for second. Jones plays it back in, and Billy McKinney has another extra base hit.
Smart guy, giving up football to play baseball, and he looks like he's going to have a long future in this game with swings like this. Fastball out over the plate, and he stays back on it and rips that ball. Ever since they brought him up from the minor leagues, he's been impressive. He's done something in every game to help his team. Either a defensive play in the outfield, a good base running on the bases, or with the bats. Good leadoff double here in the 4th.
He made a nice defensive play to end the 2nd inning here this evening. Now Kendrys Morales. Morales struck out on a slider his first time up.
What is a good Major League player going to do like that? A guy who's been around for a while. He's going to make note of that slider that he struck out on and know that Hess is going to go to it at some point.
Ground ball. Davis flips to Hess, and Morales is 0 for 2. McKinney goes to third on the play.
It looked like Kendrys was trying to pull that ball. Very unselfish play. Leadoff double in front of him. It looked like he was just trying to get the head of the bat out and try to hit the ball to the right side to advance that runner. I think that's why he's getting a lot of high fives in that dugout from his teammates.
Get him over, get him in, and he got him over. Now the runner's at third base with just 1 out. That'll force the infield to come in, play at the edge of the grass with Justin Smoke batting. Smoke was called out on strikes his first time up. This is where Smoke really feels obligated to cash in. Morales gave up his at bat to give Smoke this opportunity, and you really want to make the most of it.
Yeah, you want to make contact, you want to get the ball into the outfield or get a base hit. Something that his teammate sacrificed himself for you to get an easy RBI.
Just under 300 this season with runners in scoring position for Smoke. 61 RBIs, 19 home runs for the first baseman. Breaking ball down and away. It's 2-1 now.
You know where we are in the lineup in this game. They might just pitch around Smoke, take their chances with Randall Grichuk on deck.
Little slider, got a lot of the plate right there. I think you're right. I think they're trying to be as cautious as possible with Smoke, but they gave him a pretty good pitch to hit. There you see Grichuk who struck out swinging. His only time up.
Smoke struck out on that slider down and in his first time up. When they slid to the inside there, it's like Joseph is sliding back in there.
A little bit too low. Full count now is Smoke. Boy, if you're Smoke, you've got to believe they're going to throw you another breaking ball. They don't care if they walk you, but they're probably thinking, you know, I'm going to throw him a good breaking ball. If I walk him, it's not a big deal. But boy, you better not hang it, because I think he's sitting all over this breaking ball.
I think he has it in the back of his mind that I'll react to the fastball. And the fastball's been good for Hess in the month of August. He's dominated with it, but maybe we look breaking ball. Here it was.
Boy, he got a breaking ball to hit, too. That last pitch up and out over the heart of the plate. Again, if Joseph took the foul ball, but Smoke, he was looking breaking ball.
They wanted it down and in, and it's right there. Right. Letter high, where he has hit a lot of balls out. Hess has given up 16 home runs in 72 innings coming into this game. 9 of them off of the fastball, 3 of them off of a slider, and 4 of them off of his changeup.
Smoke fouls it back to stay alive. Full count on Justin Smoke. Billy McKinney hit the leadoff double, moved to third on the ground out by Morales. No score in this ball game. We're in the top of the 4th. The Orioles have lost 8 in a row. They were swept in a 4-game series at the hands of the New York Yankees. The Orioles have hit just 199 in the last 10 days. Another 3-2 pitch. Smoke fights it off. And back with a fastball. He's getting a few pitches to hit in this at bat.
And he's just missing them. I haven't seen that slow curveball from Hess.
Smoke didn't like that call. He was ready to toss the bat aside. Marty Foster's the home plate umpire this evening, and Smoke didn't like both of those calls. He was called out on strikes in the second. 4 strikeouts for Hess.
Looked like it might have been a changeup down and away, and Smoke, he's got a great eye. Thought that one was off the plate. Not so, says Marty Foster.
So now it's up to Randall Grichuk to deliver with 2 outs. Grichuk struck out his only time up. Remember the conversations we had early in the game when the veterans were talking about Hess? He had established his slider early in the game, and that's the pitch he's going to in these crucial matchups.
He threw some to Smoke, and he just missed him. He hung one to him, and then he also threw him a high fastball, and he missed it. He thought it was ball 4, but looked like it might have been off the plate. But he's throwing pitches, and the Blue Jays have had their share of chances.
Strike 2, 1-2 now. Well, the Blue Jays got a leadoff double. Billy McKinney, his 3rd double of the season, started things off. He's still at third base. Now there are 2 outs.
Still working him away. And we've seen Randall take that ball away from him and shoot it down the right field line.
Line drive to left field. Chase Peterson is there, and the Blue Jays will waste a leadoff double. Billy McKinney is stranded on base. But at the bottom of the 4th, still no score in Baltimore.
that way. It's the Buck Martinez Get Up alarm clock giveaway. First 20,000 fans on Sunday, September 9th will get one of those. It's Junior Jay's Back to School Day, presented by Boston Pizza. And not just the kids get the alarm clock, everybody does. So, Mr. Tabler, your worst nightmare could come true.
I listened to that all summer. Do I have to listen to it all winter?
And besides, we don't get up in the winter time.
That's right.
We don't get up.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that is one of the cutest things, one of the coolest things that they've had this year. Get up.
I tell you what, people have been asking me about it. It's going to be fun. Good for the kids. Back to school, time to get up. Moms love back to school day. The kids get out of the house for the winter. Chris Davis, he had a base hit his first time up, single into right field. Couple of good pitches just off the plate.
Yeah, not a bad idea against Chris Davis. You got to crowd him. He likes to extend his arms and catch that ball out in front. That's where he gets his home runs. You got to crowd him and keep that ball inside against him.
There's a strike at 88 right at the top of the zone. 3-1 now to Davis. Strike 2.
As a left-handed hitter, you see that fastball coming in like that and it tails back in. It's tough not to pull that trigger. It just freezes you momentarily.
A hot, humid night here in Baltimore. And Davis strikes out. Pavilio comes all the way back from 3-0 and strikes out Chris Davis.
Take on any project with Home Hardware, proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's how.
One away. That's the first strikeout for Sam Gaviglio. Trey Mancini flying out the right field. His only time up was after the first pitch.
That was a beautiful sequence I thought he had against Chris Davis. Fastball, fastball, fastball. And then when he got back to 3-2, Davis was looking for the fastball and he crossed him up and threw him a slider. Made him look silly.
High ball left field. That ball is a foul ball. That was close as Billy McKinney couldn't get over there in time, and the Blue Jays have made a couple of roster moves. On the left, Danny Barnes. We know Danny Barnes. He's just been recalled from AAA, but on the right is an interesting young man. Murphy Smith has just been called up for the first time in his career. 10 years in the minors. He's 31 years old. Just turned 32, actually. Just turned 31 on the 25th of August. A 10-year minor leaguer, looking to become the oldest Blue Jay to make his major league debut. Pavilio with back-to-back strikeouts here in the fourth. Let's go down to Arash.
Well, Buck, it was yesterday that Smith was sitting in a hotel room with his parents. He was scheduled to start today for the Buffalo Bisons. The phone rang, and Murphy said that my parents, they knew based on my reaction what kind of call it was. He said it was surreal, hard to put into words. He actually said to his manager, Bobby Meacham, "Are you kidding me?" Smith admitted it's been a long road. He sat on the couch for about an hour in shock, and then his dad began packing his bags for him. And that just kind of snapped him out of the euphoria he was feeling. He actually told us, "I honestly didn't think I had a shot this year to get to the big leagues," and here he is, 31 years young.
What a great story. He has pitched in Buffalo, 26 appearances. He's made 7 starts down there, and as you mentioned, Arash, he was going to make the start today, but I think he'd just as soon sit in the bullpen in a big league ballpark than stay down there in Buffalo.
Pat Hankins been talking about him this year. Pat does a good job with all the young pitchers in the minor leagues. He's been talking about it. He's like, I hope they give him a shot this year because he's impressed everybody this past summer.
Hervey Smith began his professional career with the Oakland A's. He was a 13th round pick in 2009. Came to the Blue Jays in 2015. And he has toiled in all of the levels of the Blue Jays this year, working at Buffalo. Second year in a row he has pitched at Buffalo. Foul back is now 2-2 to the Orioles shortstop Tim Beckman. Sam Gaviglio with his first 2 strikeouts of the night here in the 4th inning.
Both of them off of the slider. This is the part of the lineup where the defense really helped him out last time. Evan Travis made a great play to rob Beckman of an RBI single.
Hot shot. Russell Martin dives, gets to his feet in plenty of time. Beckham is 0 for 2, and the infield has flashed some leather on the Orioles shortstop. Russ Martin looks like a veteran over at third, handling everything. Time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's the 25-year-old starter for the Orioles has had a tough season, but lately things have started to turn around for him.
Over his last 3 starts, he's dropped that ERA under 3, opponents hitting under 200. Those were all road games for him at Tampa Bay, at Cleveland, and then at the Blue Jays, where he's hit a career high in innings pitched and strikeouts with 7. The problem that he has had this year is the home runs. He's given up too many home runs this year, and they've accounted for a lot of the runs against him.
Diaz goes after that first pitch and pops it into the seats behind the Orioles stand.
24 of the 46 runs that he has given up this year have come via the home run. But everything else has been pretty good. Only Dylan Bundy has given up more home runs per 9 inning than David Hess this year. But I like what I see today. A little tight slider to go along with his fastball and his changeup.
Second game in a row he's been impressive against the Blue Jays. In his previous start against the Jays, 7 innings, 1 run on 3 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 7. When he left that ball game, it was a 1-0 game. And the Blue Jays scored 5 in the bottom of the 8th and blew it wide open.
His only mistake was that home run to Kendrys Morales, a little hanging slider that he belted the right field.
Diaz had a good cut at that fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He's not going to light up the radar gun. It just says 89, 90, 92 miles an hour, but where he's throwing it, that was a pretty good 2-1 fastball down and away. Now it looks like they want to come back inside with that fastball.
Didn't get it in, but Diaz pops it into center field. Mullins is there, and that's the first out of the top of the 5th. You mentioned the home run Hess surrendered to Morales. That was the 4th game during the streak that Morales had homered. Jay Happ gave up the first home run in the streak to Morales, and Andrew Kashner gave up a pair of home runs, a solo shot and a 3-run homer. Then Dylan Bundy and David Hess, both Orioles, and then the Phillies gave up home runs in each of those 3 games. Jake Arrieta on Friday, Nick Pivetta on Saturday, and Vince Velasquez yesterday. Russell Martin flying out to center field, his only time up. Drills this one to the gap in left field. Peterson's not going to get it. It's off the top of the wall. Mullins plays it back in. Martin is headed for second. He'll get there with a slide. Wes Martin missed by about 10 inches of hitting the home run and putting Blue Jays out front. The double is his 8th of the season. It comes with 1 out here in the 5th.
Russell had a good swing his first time up and flew out deep to center field against Hess. This time he gets a fastball middle in and he crunches it to left field. It's a great hitter's ballpark in the summertime. The ball really flies, and you see right off the top of the wall. And Mullins, the center field, I don't know if he got a good grip on the ball. The throw back in was a short hop, like he threw a cutter or something down into the dirt, so no chance to get Russell at second.
Luke Maile singled on a slider his first time up. Gets another slider, but this one's a ball. No score. We're in the 5th. Each team with just 3 hits. Pitchers have had the upper hand early on. Has behind, 2 balls and no strikes to Luke Maile. Now it's 3-0. Devin Travis is on deck. Maile has set career highs in just about every offensive category across the board. 42 hits, 10 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs.
Come up with a lot of clutch hits for the Blue Jays this year. 3-0. Do they give him the green light here?
Ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to the number 8 hitter. That'll bring Devin Travis to the plate.
The 2018 Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
The Inner Harbor of Baltimore, just about 3 or 4 blocks from this ballpark. Beautiful Oriole Park at Camden Yards, a terrific layout for everyone involved. 1 out, 2 on. Outside for ball 1. Travis is now 27 years old, and he is in his 4th season with the Blue Jays. He's finally healthy. The most at-bats he's ever had in a season was 2016 when he had 410 at-bats. He's been dealt a tough hand as far as injuries, but right now I think he's really feeling good, playing very well in the field, and would like to be just a little more productive with the bat. 10 home runs, 1 shy of his career high. He had 11 back in 2016. He also is 10 off his RBI mark. He had 50 ribbies in 2016. He's got 40 as we speak now.
He can load up right now. I want to know that's 5 straight misses for Hess. He can load up and see how far he can hit it now if he wants to.
Drives it to left field, but Peterson is there. He's going to make the catch, and Travis lines out to left field. He got a good pitch to hit.
Yeah, just didn't hit it solid. Hit it okay to left field. Just didn't square it up. It hit it solid. Couldn't get all of it. They've had him on the ropes tonight, and they've let him off a couple of times the last couple of innings. They had a leadoff double last inning and couldn't cash him in. Now they got 2 on and 2 out.
Back to the top of the order. This is Curtis Granderson. Anderson takes the first pitch down and in for a ball. Curtis is 0 for 2. He lined out sharply to center field to end the third inning. Breaking ball in there for a strike. It's now 1-1.
I like how it came back to that breaking ball after just missing on the first pitch. His fastball, like we said, has been good in August. He's really gone to it a lot, and he's had a lot of success with his fastball this month.
Pick off at second. Martin's back in ahead of the throw. Granderson this year coming into this game against the Orioles, he leads the Blue Jays with 10 RBIs. He's got 3 homers and 10 ribbies against the Orioles. That's the most RBIs for a Blue Jay hitter. Randall Grichuk has driven in 9. Kendrys Morales 8. Pulled on the ground. Davis will wave off the pitcher and step on the back, and the Blue Jays strand 2 more base runners. So far, the Jays haven't been able to break through against David Hess. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. No score.
Park app. You can access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Now, could Jose Bautista be moving ballparks? Ken Rosenthal, The Athletic, first reported today that the Phillies have claimed Bautista on revocable trade waivers. If a deal is to be made, it has to be done tomorrow. Buck Jose is starting to heat up the last couple of weeks. An OPS of .738 in the last 14 games.
Well, Rash, he's got 11 home runs between his time in Atlanta and with the New York Mets, and we just saw the Phillies, and yeah, they can get some hits, but again tonight they're trailing 4-2 at the hands of the Nationals. They're just not scoring any runs, Pat.
They need an outfielder who can mash just a little bit. Jose's played some third base. There's no DH over there in the National League. He's going to have to play the outfield somewhere.
Well, he could platoon with Nick Williams and Wright. That's what they wanted Adam Jones for. They thought they were going to be able to convince Jones to waive his 10-5 rights and go to Philadelphia, but Adam didn't feel like it was a good fit for him.
He wants to play every day.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
And he's got deep roots here in Baltimore. This is his 11th season with the Orioles, and he does a lot of charitable work, and he has a lot of activities here based on that charity. So he is comfortable to stay right here for the time being. Ground ball. Diaz was shaded in the hole. Nunez is 0 for 2.
You think there's going to be some movements over the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think there will be.
I do too.
I think there'll be some teams moving because the playoff picture is so hazy right now, especially in the National League. But even the New York Yankees, they have closed ground on the Boston Red Sox. They're 6 back in the division. Boston's lost 3 in a row. The Yankees have won 4 in a row. And the wild card race, of course, in the National League, it's a mess right now. Lots of teams involved. St. Louis, Milwaukee, Colorado, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles, all within 2.5 games.
So lots of options, and there's opportunities to pick up some players. Wouldn't shock me if the Yankees went out and made a deal. You mentioned them to get an outfielder. I think they need another bat in the outfield.
I don't think they ever expected Aaron Judge to be out as long as he's been out.
Right.
And a chip fracture, and Curtis Granderson has been with the Yankees in the past, and his name has been bandied about. But I think there's going to be some movement. Of course, the trade deadline is August 31st. You have to be in the organization on August 31st to participate in the postseason. And that was the big deal last year at that time when Justin Verlander went to the Astros right at the 11th hour.
There've been, over the years, big trades in the month of August that have really helped teams get over the hump. The biggest one I remember was the David Cohn trade. That wasn't a July trade. That was an August trade.
Chase Peterson flies out to Randall Grichuk, 2 outs. Let's take a look at the playoff picture in the American League. Boston, Cleveland, and Houston, they are currently the division leaders. Houston, a game and a half lead over Oakland. They play tonight in Houston, and Houston hasn't played well at home. The wild card picture, a little different story. The Yankees have a 4.5 game cushion over Oakland, and Seattle has dropped to 5 back of Oakland for that second wild card spot. The Astros 33-29 at home, which is really a surprising number. They play great on the road. Houston's 47-21 on the road, but they are playing tonight against the A's. Good showdown there. Brett Anderson and Garrett Cole, the scheduled starters.
Just a game and a half separating Houston and Oakland as we speak. Houston looks like they might have righted the ship a little bit. They won their last 5. Starting to get their guys back. You see Altuve's back, and he's hitting like 450 since he's come back.
Little tapper out in front of the mound. Gavilio has a quick inning as Joseph is thrown out. 3 up, 3 down. Orioles go quietly in the 6th. Don't miss this at bat. Kendrys Morales will bat second once again. Billy McKinney had a double his last time up. Game changer. Get ready for a refined travel experience. Visit 787.westjet.com to see the whole story. And that's the kind of view you would get from a Dreamliner high above Oriole Park at Camden Yards in a scoreless game. Line scores are identical. 0-3-0 for both teams. David Hess and Sam Gavilio have settled into a nice pitcher's duel. Hess has walked 1, struck out 4, thrown 79 pitches.
They've had him on the ropes the last couple of innings. Blue Jays have left 4 runners on base over the last 3 innings. Let's see if they can get to him here in the 6th.
Billy McKinney doubled his last time up, plays off that breaking ball. McKinney has good at bats. We have seen him for a very limited amount of time, but he has good at bats. He goes up there with a game plan, no matter what the situation is. He's not up there just hacking, just trying to get hits. He's got a game plan.
He's got a plan, and it looks like he can handle the breaking ball. Looks like he can handle the fastball. He's got a short enough swing that he's not going to strike out a ton. And he's going to battle you. You're going to earn your way to get him out. I've been impressed.
Yeah, he's been impressive. He just turned 24 on the 23rd of this month. Originally drafted in the first round by the Oakland A's. Breaking ball hit to right field. That's Jones out there. He'll get it. McKinney's retired, and that'll bring Kendrys Morales to the plate. Morales 0 for 2 so far in this game. One of the home runs he has hit in this 8-game situation, you can see there, got Morales cam on just in case, just to capture every moment, and that's Lourdes Gurriel Jr., of course. But the home run that Morales hit off Hess broke a scoreless tie. There's 0-0, bottom of the 7th. It's 0-0, top of the 6th now.
That was the only run he had given up at that point. Hanging breaking ball. Remember, he struck him out on a slider down and in his first time up. I'm sure Kendrys has put that in the back of his mind, and if he gets 2 strikes, he might look for it.
He also has a 10-game hit streak on the line. 4 for 8 against Hess with that home run. Looks like they're staying away. Missed with the off-speed pitch. That changeup ran off the plate. Gurriel is all set just in case we might see a bit of history here. Ball 4. So Morales draws the 1-out walk. He didn't get much to hit in that at bat. Justin Smoak has been called out on strikes both times tonight. The infield will play the shift, and Davis, the first baseman, will play behind Morales. Smoak was ready for that heater and got out in front of it.
Jumped all over it. We mentioned the shift that the Orioles have put on against Smoak. That is Nunez, the third baseman, in right field. So a ground ball, that'll be interesting if they try to turn 2. StatCast AI is powered by AWS, and you can see from that StatCast shift, Nunez is the guy who's going to be in the hole. And they're not holding on Morales at first base.
That gives Davis, the first baseman, a little more lateral range. And of course, neither Morales nor Smoak run very well.
It gives him a good view, Davis, if there's a ground ball to him, a throwing lane to the shortstop on a double play attempt. If he's got to come over off the bag, there's really not a good throwing lane.
Smoak takes it down and in. It's 1-2 strikes to the first baseman. Top of the 6th inning, no score in the game. Only 6 hits in total, 3 for each ball club. No breaking ball. Smoak strikes out for a 3rd time. It's one of the few slow curveballs we've seen from Hess, and he picked a good time to use it.
Yeah, we thought last time after that long at bat for Smoak, he'd throw it then, and now he picked a great time, just took a little something off of it, messed up the timing of Smoak. That curveball, he's been hit hard with that curveball, but that was a pretty good one.
Randall Grichuk has struck out and lined out. 2 outs now. How's that first pitch back? Like you said, Blue Jays have had some pitches to hit. They just haven't squared them up.
Smokey had a few his last time up with a runner at third base and less than 2 outs, and he missed them. Grichuk's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Travis lined out last time up with a couple of runners on base. So yeah, they've had their chances and they've had pitches. Just haven't been able to do anything with it just yet.
Now the curveball, just 71 miles an hour. You can see the difference between that pitch and his slider. His slider will be in the low 80s. But that curveball really drops down just in the low 70s. Out in front of that pitch and hits it down the left field line. So Morales will go back to first. McKinney flied out to right field to start the inning, and Morales walked on 4 pitches, struck out swinging. There's a line drive. This is going to be a fair ball. Morales is headed for third. Grichuk follows him. He's going to go into second. Randall Grichuk with a 2-out double. For Grichuk, that's his 22nd double of the season, and that puts runners at second and third, but there are 2 outs.
Yeah, and it's going to take a 2-out hit for the Blue Jays again to get a run. It looked like another breaking ball. This time Randall stayed back on this one. He had trouble with the slider against Hess. That was the curveball. He stayed back, recognized it a little bit earlier, banged it off the wall, but he can't score Morales from first base. But the Blue Jays have 2 runners now in scoring position.
Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, out to chat with the battery. David Hess and Caleb Joseph as Miguel Castro starts to loosen up. Castro was the pitcher that followed David Hess into the ball game at Rogers Center, and he gave up 5 runs in that inning as Castro came in, and he didn't have anything working for him.
Buck, I think that mound meeting had a little something to do with where they wanted that pitch. You can see Joseph, he say, hey, bounce that ball out there. Don't worry about it, I'll catch it. And he caught way too much of the plate. So I think that mound visit had a little something to do about theory or what they were going to try and do.
Now that was a great illustration of how a catcher can really emphasize what he wants the pitcher to do, but that time Hess missed his spot. Now let miss Diaz. Boy, he just missed a 2-run double. Just pulled it foul. He had the big double, bases clearing double on Saturday against Philadelphia. Hit one to the base of the wall in center.
Cleared the bases, drove in 3 runs, and he just missed another one. That was another curveball. He hasn't thrown too many tonight. And that's the pitch that he's been getting hit by the most this year. They've hit 364 against his curveball. I think that was just a show me pitch right there to Diaz.
Pitching coach and hitting coach having a chat about this at bat. Here's the 1-1 to Diaz. Goes after that slider. A little bit slower there at 78. Everybody knows that Diaz is a great fastball hitter, and whenever they can, they're going to throw him off-speed pitches.
They've given him a couple of fastballs tonight to hit, and he's missed them. He has flied out twice to center field.
Got a piece of that breaking ball to stay alive. The Blue Jays to this point are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They have left 4 on base. The Orioles, on the other hand, are 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position, but neither team has scored yet. Baltimore has stranded 3. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ground ball to short. Beckham has it, fires across the diamond, and the Blue Jays are now 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. And they've stranded 6. Middle of the 6th, still no score. We're down in Double-A. TJ Zoik has really had a good season, and he's finishing up on a real positive notepad over his last 5 starts. He's been real good.
Yeah, the former first-round draft pick of the Blue Jays back in 2016. He's 6'7", 225 pounds. Spent most of the season at Double-A. He's made 20 starts at Double-A this year. He's not a swing and miss type of guy. He's got 77 strikeouts in 115 innings pitched, but I like that he's finishing up his Double-A season on a strong note. For the whole season, his ERA is 3.13 in New Hampshire. They've got some prospects there in Double-A.
Yeah, he turned 23 on the 1st of August. He signed out of the University of Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's kind of an interesting guy. Fill out into his frame. He's 6'7", as Pat mentioned. He could be a very interesting arm down the road for the Blue Jays. Cedric Mullins, the leadoff hitter for the Orioles. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. Base hit to right. A leadoff single. Nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Matt Chapman has really come on as an impact player for the Oakland A's, as he has really had a great second half to his season. And Chapman has given that A's team a 4-0 lead. They're in the middle of the 3rd in Houston. Got to keep your eye on the runner at first. Mullins got some speed. VR shows bunt, takes a strike.
Here comes some small ball now again from Baltimore. A lot different than what we have been used to over the last couple of years with this team. They would just lay back and try to mash the ball out of the ballpark. Now they got a lot of speedy guys. Mullins stole 21 bases out of 22 attempts in the minor leagues this year. He's 0 for 1 here at the major league level, so he's got some speed over there at first base.
And he'll dive back in well ahead of the throw.
It's a good combination with him running and VR hitting. If they want to try something, a hit and run, or just let him try and steal.
He faked a break, and VR shows bunt, pulls the bat back. He had the entire infield moving when Mullins took a step towards second. Everybody on the infield reacted.
It's interesting how VR is squaring around early, setting that infield in motion. He might pull that bat back and swing away. He looks like he wants to give himself up, but that might just be a decoy.
1-2 now. You would think they would take the bunt off with 2 strikes. Bobby Dickerson, the third base coach, flashing the signs to both the batter and to the runner at first base. Bottom of the 6th inning, no score. Mullins with a good lead at first. Not running. We are bunts with 2 strikes and caught Russ Martin flat-footed. They call for the bunt with 2 strikes. I don't know if VR did it on his own, and you assume he may have. But he saw Martin was deeper at third base, so he just squared around and bunted very firmly. Martin trying to make a barehanded grab and couldn't come up with it.
What a gamble with 2 strikes. It's got to be perfect. He noticed that Russell was back. At worst, they're going to have a runner at second base and just 1 out. At best, they got runners at first and second now, nobody out. He did that on his own.
Yes, he did, and I like that, and I think Buck Showalter will like it as well. You can see Martin grabbed for it with a bare hand, couldn't come up with it. But that's the type of thing Buck Showalter wants to see from his players. Use your imagination. Go outside the box. Don't just concede with 2 strikes. You're not going to bunt and be on. Crossed up the Blue Jays right there. Now they're threatening here with nobody out. So I'm sure Showalter and John Russell, as bench coach, will make a note of that. Tomorrow when they have their meeting about how we won the game, Jonathan VR thinking with 2 strikes.
Now all kind of options now with the speed. I think you got to let Jones swing away. There's Danny Barnes. He's up, getting loose.
Adam Jones, the right fielder. That ball gets away from Mealy. The runners are going to move up. That ball hit the dirt and bounced away from the catcher, and the runners are now at second and third. Ball in the dirt, and Luke tried to backhand it, and they hit off his glove.
Yeah, tried to short hop it and catch it. He had a wild pitch earlier tonight that went off the heel of his glove. That did the same thing, sending those runners up 90 feet. And they got to play the infield back. You don't want to give up 2. You'll give up 1 on an infield grounder.
Two balls and no strikes. Sam Gaviglio has thrown 76 pitches, and this is the first real test he's had tonight. Second and third, nobody out. Number 3 hitter Jones at the plate. Now it's 3-0.
Put him on.
Yeah, there, put him on. And John Gibbons just waved his 4 fingers at Bailey to indicate we'll walk him. I'll have to throw a pitch, of course, anymore, so it'll be an intentional pass given to Jones. Bases loaded.
Yeah, and the thinking here is Chris Davis strikes out a lot. Struck out his last time up against Sam Gaviglio. So you got a hitter up there now, bases loaded, nobody out. If you get the strikeout, then you can get out of the inning with a ground ball. So you put Adam Jones on first base and take your chances with Chris Davis.
Mullins at third, beyond second, Jones at first. Bases loaded, nobody out. Chris Davis, he's 1 for 2 with a strikeout. First pitch, strike Davis. At one time was the last man you wanted to face with the bases loaded. He has 8 career grand slams. But this is a different Chris Davis than the Blue Jays have faced in the past.
There's 2 for 7 this season with the bases loaded. They crossed him up. They threw a fastball right down the middle on that first pitch. Now they got him guessing.
Good block by Bailey there. Ball in the strike. But when you walk Jones and you want to get to Davis, this is part of it. He strikes out a lot. Of course, most strikeouts in the American League.
Yeah, you still have to make your pitches. And he pitched them tough last time. Remember, it was all fastballs and got to 3-2. And then threw him a slider and then swung right over the top of it. Still have to make your pitches.
Ground ball. Travis knocks it down. They go to second for one. No throw back to first. A run comes in. Davis picks up an RBI as Mullins comes in to score. It's 1-0 Baltimore.
Well, Devin Travis just saved the Blue Jays a run. VR was going to score if that ball gets into the outfield, and Travis got a great jump on that ball. Backhanded it and kept the double play in order by getting that runner in the middle of the diamond. There's a hole on the right side. It's small, and it looks like Davis has a shot through there, but Devin says not so fast. Makes a great play to get the out. Diaz has to hustle back and be the man to catch the ball there at second base.
First run of the ball game scores here in the sixth. 1-0 Baltimore. Trey Mancini has gone 0 for 2 so far.
You mentioned the Orioles have struggled lately. 8-game losing streak. They've only averaged 2 runs a game during that 8-game losing streak. They've hit .212 and they've hit 5 home runs. So they've had to be creative to try and score some runs. Tonight, they've been creative.
They took advantage of a wild pitch in this inning to help them score the first run of the game. The strike to Mancini. It's 1-1. Trey Mancini is the DH tonight. Gavilio has now thrown 82 pitches as he works with 1 out in the sixth. Fly ball. Deep to right center. Grichuk on the run, and this ball is gone off the top of the fence out of the ballpark. A 3-run home run for Trey Mancini, his 19th of the season. And the Blue Jays have scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the sixth.
The Orioles, we mentioned, they're only averaging 2 runs a game during the 8-game losing streak. For the season, they're averaging 3.5 runs a game. They get that with 1 swing of the bat from Trey Mancini. It looked like they were going to try and crowd him with a fastball in. But Sam Gavilio missed his spot, and Mancini, watch how he can get to this ball. Inside out, lofts it deep to right field. That ball kept going, kept carrying it right off the top of the wall and out of here.
We talked about how they power alleys here at Oriole Park, not that deep. Mancini took advantage of it and hits it out of the ballpark for a 3-run home run. Baltimore with 4 runs here in the bottom of the sixth. Tim Beckham takes one inside. Still just 1 out. Beckham has been robbed of base hits each of his first 2 at-bats tonight. Devin Travis took a hit away from him in the second. Russell Martin did the same in the fourth. Pulled foul outside of third.
It's up over there. Beckham came to the Orioles last year and really did a great job after they acquired him. They put him in at shortstop, started hitting everything in sight. And then this year they moved him over third base because Manny Machado wanted to play shortstop. Got off to a tough start, but then when Manny was traded, he's been their everyday shortstop since.
Last year in 50 games with the Orioles, he had 306 with 10 home runs. He had a tough start. Came into this ball game hitting .219. 2-2 now to the Orioles shortstop. Home runs on the road have been a problem for Sam Gaviglio. It's the 11th home run he has surrendered on the road in 9 road starts. Off the end of the bat, Gaviglio will pick it up and go to the bag to retire Beckham, who's 0 for 3.
Told you how in this ballpark in the summertime, when it gets hot and steamy like this, that ball just keeps carrying. 392 feet later, Trey Mancini has his 19th home run. There's a shed out there in right field where the ground crew sits, and it looked like it hit right on top of the roof of that shed and bounced into the stands.
There's the grounds crew. That's where they sit until they're called upon to go to work. Renato Nunez, the third baseman, 0 for 2 so far. There's a strike from Gaviglio. Both bullpens are working. Danny Barnes has been throwing for the Blue Jays, and Miguel Castro looks like he might be coming into the game. He continues to throw for the Orioles. Only 7 games tonight in the majors. Houston has closed ground on Oakland. It's now a 4-3 game. Oakland had a 4-0 lead. White Sox are ahead of the Yankees in New York, top of the 6th, 3-2. Washington and the Phillies are playing in Philadelphia. Nationals have a 4-2 lead. Steven Strasburg, the starter for the Nationals. Little flare over the head of Travis into center field off the bat of Nunez, his first hit of the night. And that's going to be the end of the night for Sam Gaviglio. There's the call from John Gibbons, the manager, to the bullpen. And Gaviglio ran into some problems here in the 6th. Couple of singles, a wild pitch, then the bases were loaded with the intentional walk. Davis drives in to run with the fielder's choice, and then Trey Mancini, a 3-run home run. Pitching change here in Baltimore. Danny Barnes coming on. This will be his first appearance since the 12th of August when he pitched just 2/3 of an innings against the Tampa Bay Rays. He's been dealing with some knee problems.
Yeah, spent some time on the disabled list with that. He's also been optioned down to AAA a couple of different times, so 35 games this year for Danny. He's got a 2-1 record. His second win came against these Baltimore Orioles back in June. They'll just back up today. He will enter this ball game in the bottom of the 6th inning with 2 outs.
Jace Peterson, the left fielder, is 0 for 2. Renato Nunez is at first base. Warriors have scored 4 runs on 4 hits. They've had a walk this inning. Peterson is the 8th Oriole to bat in the inning.
This whole inning, I think, was set up by that 2-strike bunt by Jonathan VR. Gutsy play, but a good play. A heads-up play after Russell had moved back at third base, and that set the whole inning up.
Well, it sure did. Everybody in the ballpark had assumed that the bunt was taken off once they got to 2 strikes, but VR crossed up everybody. That's a fair ball, just over the bag. Peterson is around first. He's headed for second. Nunez is going to be stopped at third as the throw comes into the cutoff man. And after Nunez was coming around third to score, and he threw up a blatant stop sign. The third base coach, Bobby Dixon.
I thought they might have a shot to score the runner, and they might have just tried to send him with 2 outs. This ball down into the corner, right over the bag. The Smoke can't get to it. Granderson gets over there very quickly and got it back to Devin Travis, but I still thought they were going to try and score that run. Dickerson threw up the stop sign because the number 9 hitter's coming up. I think you take a chance there. You say, hey, throw me out at the plate. If you don't, no problem.
Joseph has 16 RBIs all season, batting in the 9th spot. Hits the ground ball to third. Martin will throw across in time, and the Orioles will leave 2, but they score 6 big runs. They have a bat-around inning. 9 men come to the plate. The big capper in the inning, a 3-run home run by Trey Mancini. And off the top of the roof, over the wall in right. 4-0 Orioles. Against the Blue Jays. Last time out, he surrendered just 1 run on 3 hits over 7 innings, and he goes 1 better here on 99 pitches tonight.
Yeah, he had a good fastball command, a sharp break to his breaking ball, shutout baseball for Hess. Over 6 innings, he only gave up 4 hits to the Blue Jays. He will give way to the former Blue Jay, Miguel Castro, for the 53rd time this year for the hard-throwing right-hander. The numbers don't reflect the type of stuff that Castro has. He's got a big arm, big fastball with a big slider, but you can see from that one line down there, he's had 52 strikeouts and 46 walks. At times, he just can't find the strike zone. The Blue Jays beat him around at Rogers Center last week.
He did not get an out. He was charged with 5 earned runs on 3 hits, walked 2. And that was in that 1-0 game. Thomas Pannone against David Hess. Castro followed Hess in that game and gave up 5 runs in the 8th. Now Martin. Plus it went off the top of the fence in left field his last time up for a 1-out double. Blue Jays have just 4 hits. 3 of those have been doubles, but they've not been able to take advantage of the extra base hits. Hard slider. Martin strikes out.
There was some talk of maybe making Castro a starter. He's tall and wiry. He's got a rubber arm. He can throw a lot, but he might be better suited for the bullpen. Late in the ball game, there's a slider that just drops under the bat of Martin as he strikes out for the first out.
Castro has made 2 big league starts, both for the Orioles. One last year, one this year. But you're right, it's intriguing. And the thing about Castro, it's really interesting. He's just 23 years old. When he pitched for the Blue Jays in 2015, he was 20. Came out of spring training as the closer.
Yeah, Osuna was the setup man and Castro was the closer.
Maley bounces it to third. Nunez short hop over at first, but Chris Davis is terrific digging out those low throws. 2 quick outs here for Castro in the 7th.
That ball looked like it took maybe a funny little hop on Nunez right at the end, and it threw off his timing. When you throw off your timing and your feet aren't underneath you, that's where wild throws come. And he was saved that time by Chris Davis, the first baseman.
Outside for ball 1 to Devin Travis. Devin is 0 for 2. Kendrys Morales is in the 3rd spot in that lineup. He will get one more at bat at least tonight.
Probably have to do it right-handed. Got a couple of left-handed batters hitting ahead of them. They've got a couple of lefties down in that bullpen. Teams have been making Morales hit right-handed a lot this year.
The first home run he hit in this 7-game streak was against the left-hander Jay Happ in New York. Paul Fry, one of 3 lefties the Orioles have in their bullpen. He is loosening up. Granderson is on deck, then Billy McKinney. Davis makes a nice play. Travis making a bid for an opposite field base hit is denied by the big first baseman Chris Davis. Quick inning for Miguel Castro. Through 93 pitches, he went 5 2/3, and he had breezed through the first 5 innings. Had allowed just 3 hits over those 5 innings, but then the roof caved in on him in the 6th. It all started with a couple of singles and a bunt single by VR. As you mentioned, Pat, that might have been the turning point in that inning.
Yeah, and then a wild pitch sent them to second and third, an intentional walk, and then a 3-run home run. The big damage, but that's the 9th time in 19 starts he has pitched into the 6th inning for the Blue Jays. On the hook now for those 4 runs.
First pitch changeup from Barnes in there to Cedric Mullins. Mullins is 1 for 2. He started the inning with a single to right field, came around to score the first run for the Orioles. There's a good strike at 89. Barnes is in his 3rd season with the Blue Jays. He came up and pitched in 12 games in 2016. Got into 60 games a year ago and had a good season. Slap toward Martin. Tough play. Takes his time and fires across in time. I'm telling you, he has handled every tough play with ease.
Yeah, 2 things to this play by Martin. First of all, getting to the ball and the backhand short hop. You can see he's shortening up even with 2 strikes. Then the throw. I've been impressed with his soft hands at third base. That's a tough play right there. And then that cannon for an arm. He's got enough on that to whip it across the infield to get the out.
He still has good arm strength. Made a good play on Mullins on the bunt back in the 3rd inning. Here's Jonathan Villar. We mentioned his bunt with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Everybody in the ballpark assumed he wasn't going to bunt. He had showed bunt throughout the at-bat. And once you get 2 strikes, everybody backed up and said, okay, well, he's not going to bunt now, and he crossed everybody up.
Yeah, he got a good pitch to hit. It looked like a fastball, and all you have to do is just get it on the grass somewhere. And it really set up the inning for the Orioles in the 6th. Been on base 3 times. He's also chipped in with a stolen base. He scored a run. He was part of the Jonathan Scope trade. They got him from Milwaukee.
There's a changeup for strike 2. VR hit that line drive off the pitcher in the 3rd inning. He hit one off Gaviglio, and Sam looked like he threw him out, and then the Orioles asked for a video review, and the call was overturned. Then he had a stolen base. It was also in the 3rd inning.
It's a different dimension that the Orioles haven't had for a few years. Just 2 years ago, VR had 62 stolen bases for the Brewers. I mean, when was the last time the Orioles could say they had that type of base-stealing threat?
Al Bunbury? Long time ago.
62 steals is a lot of steals.
I don't think the Orioles have ever had anybody steal 62 bases. Changeup missed outside. VR has reached base all 4 times he's come to the plate tonight.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays, only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
It's cooled off a little bit since the start of play here tonight. It started out at 31 degrees, and it was a hot, muggy evening. It's kind of cooled down a bit. Adam Jones, a right fielder, was given an intentional walk in the 6th. That was the walk that would load the bases. Nobody out. Goes out to the first pitch.
I got your answer for the
Franchise total in stolen bases.
Luis Aparicio, 1964. Yeah, 57 stolen bases. That's the team record.
There's a base hit to right field. VR will stop at second. No, he deeped that he was going to stop at second. He slides in safely. What a good piece of base running by VR. He took a stutter step around second as if to say, I'm going to stop here. and then took off and hit the accelerator and slides in safely to third.
What happens when you do that, when you decoy like that, everybody takes a deep breath and they don't play as hard. Watch him come around, just kind of give up and then take off. So the throw comes in with not a lot of zip. The infielders relax just for a second. And then the throws are off balance. Boom, and then he turns it on. And he really makes it easily on that high throw from Diaz. He goes to first and third on a one-hop single to right field.
Jonathan Villar is going to be front and center in the meeting tomorrow, talking about how the Orioles won the game. He's done a lot of things tonight to contribute to this lead. Jones at first with a single. Chris Davis has a hit in 3 trips. He's scored a run and driven in a run. One and one. Blue Jays have just recalled Murphy Smith from AAA Buffalo, and he is loosening up. He's 31 years old, has never spent a day in the big leagues. Defensive swing as he fouls it out.
I'm wondering if he's trying to hit the ball the other way. There's one defender on the left side of the infield. That's Russell Martin. Either that or maybe his foot slipped a little bit at the plate. There are the 3 defenders on the right side. Russell's got to stay close to VR at third base. He's liable to do anything if Russell doesn't stay close to him.
1 and 2. Inside, he missed. Now it's 2 and 2. Beyond's at third, Jones at first. The Orioles have a 4-0 lead, and they're threatening to add to that lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Kendrys Morales has gone 0 for 2 with a walk. He is the 3rd batter to hit for the Blue Jays in the top of the 8th. Trying to extend his streak to 8 straight games with a home run. 2-2 pitch to Davis. Well, the umpire wanted to call it. Marty Foster had a good look at it. Called it inside. It's a 3-2 count now.
Russell Martin is taken way off now. Now VR can get as far as he wants at third base. 3-2 count, just 1 out.
This is really interesting because if Jones takes off, then you're going to have the infielders shifting. VR walking down the third base line. There goes Jones, swing and a miss, and Bailey made no attempt as VR was halfway to home. He could not throw that ball even back to the pitcher.
Nope. He just had to hold it. If they send that runner early and VR is that far off, Jones could have walked to second base, because if Barnes steps off and throws to one of the infielders, he was so close to home plate. There's the elevated fastball to get yet another strikeout. If he even leaves beforehand, he was going to steal it.
2 down. Here's Trey Mancini, who's had the biggest hit in this ball game, a 3-run home run in the 6th. His 19th home run of the season. Fair ball. Joe West Yes, the umpire at third called it fair. 2 runs are going to score as VR and Jones jog in. And Mancini's had a big night. 5 RBIs on the night for Trey Mancini. And the Orioles have taken a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, with 2 swings of the bat in the last 2 innings, the 3-run homer to dead center field, and then Danny tried to slip that ball by him, but he's just too quick on the inner half.
Mancini with 5 ribbies, now up to 46 for the season.
That's how he gets to that ball quickly, and he's able to keep it fair right over the bag. Scoring 2 more runs. 10 hits now for the Orioles.
Tim Beckham is 0 for 3. Mancini last year had 24 home runs. He hit his 19th earlier tonight. Now he's had a 5 ribby game. Change up for a strike. There's a base hit. Mancini's being waved around third. He will score without a throw. Tim Beckham has a hit. It's 7-0 Orioles. And John Gibbons has made the call to the bullpen. Mancini with a big night. A home run, a 2-run double. He's driven in 5. Danny Barnes will turn things over to Murphy Smith, who will make his major league debut when we come back to Baltimore. Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. Big night for Trey Mancini. A 3-run home run, a 2-run double, and it's a big night for Murphy Smith. His major league debut, he becomes the oldest Blue Jay player to make his major league debut. He's 31 years old, turned 31 2 days ago.
There are the numbers in 26 games, including 7 starts down in the minor leagues, 62 2/3 innings. Fastball, slider, changeup. His scouting report is he throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk too many batters, stays in his lanes, won't overpower you, but he has a pretty good idea of what he's doing pitching. He was telling me today that his spring training was interrupted with the birth of their first child, so he had to shut it down for a while. It took him a while to get back to pitching shape. Went to Buffalo, had a good year there. 359 earned run average, and here he is in the big leagues.
First big league pitch is a strike. Smith is from New York. Went to high school in Clifton Park, New York. And changeup in the dirt. Kendrys Morales, one more at bat at least. He'll be the third hitter in the top of the 8th for the Blue Jays. So far, Kendrys is 0 for 2 with the walk. Trying to connect one more time to make it 8 straight games with a home run. It would tie the major league record. Ground ball to short. Diaz will go to second, and Murphy Smith, his first big league appearance. It's under his belt now. Got to be a great feeling after 10 years in the minors. Kendrys Morales, maybe this will be his last at bat of the ball game. He's due up third. Three-game series here in Baltimore. It'll all start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell, 3:30 Pacific Time. Thomas Pannone will make his second big league start, his second consecutive start against the Orioles. Last Wednesday, he held them to no runs on 1 hit over 7 innings through 108 pitches, so he'll get another start. That's all taking place tomorrow. Right now, Paul Fry, the left-hander, will start the inning. The scheduled batter was Curtis Granderson, so they bring the left-hander in.
Yeah, a couple of lefties to start this inning, and then to switch over Morales. Paul Fry, there are his numbers in 22 games this year. Basically fastball slider for the left-hander, and just 6 base on balls in 22 innings. So get ready to hit. And one of those hitters is going to be a pinch hitter.
Teoscar Hernandez will come off the bench and bat for Curtis Granderson. Granderson finishes up 0 for 3. Hernandez takes the first pitch strike. .237 on the season for Teoscar. Ground ball, base hit through the right side. He gets a pinch hit, base hit. Now Billy McKinney will face the left-hander.
That's what you like to see. You're going to get your share of fastballs from Fry. So just go up there, take a nice swing at the ball, and he does. Finds a hole on the right side with that inside-out swing. Sometimes hitting, all it is just reaction, not thinking. Him pinch hitting, just going up there, seeing the ball and hitting. That could be good news for him.
That's the first pinch hit of the season for Teoscar. He is now 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Billy McKinney has a double in 3 trips. Goes after the first pitch, hits it off the end of the bat, and that's going to drop. Another base hit for Billy McKinney. And good on John Gibbons. Let's find out what Billy McKinney's all about. Give him a chance to hit against the left-hander, and he rewards him with a base hit.
He
Back-to-back singles.
Stayed right in there against the left-hander, and he set the table for Kendrys Morales.
Make it 8, indeed. Kendrys Morales has homered in 7 straight games. He is 0 for 2 with the walk so far. Morales began this streak with a home run against the left-hander Jay Happ in New York. He hit a hanging breaking ball over the fence in left. Morales is 0 for 2 against Fry. They have faced each other.
He's loading up on that back leg, looking for something out over the plate.
Everybody at the top step of the Blue Jays dugout anxious to see one more great swing from Morales. Mighty
there
cut.
It was.
Only 3 players in the history of the game have homered in 8 straight games, and Morales is trying to join them.
Don't get too large with that swing. Just catch it out in front. He's hit 6 home runs in this ballpark in his career.
He has 5 against the Orioles this season. 2-2 now. Strikes out. A breaking ball gets Morales. So unless the Blue Jays can mount a mighty comeback, his home run streak will come to an end here tonight in Baltimore.
What a week it's been. He was named Player of the Week today in the American League. This slider, he swings over the top of it for his efforts. What a week it's been.
5th time he has won the Player of the Week award. Justin Smoke has struck out 3 times. All as a left-handed hitter. Batting right-handed for the first time tonight. Players will say, well, I don't pay much attention to records, but you can bet that was on his mind all day long.
Sure.
A chance to join just 3 players homering in 8 straight games.
I mean, it's so rare where someone does something as spectacular as that. Homering in 7 straight games, that's only happened 7 times in Major League history, and he's one of them.
The 4 players that have homered in 7 straight games: Kendrys Morales, Kevin Mensch did it in 2006, Barry Bonds in 2004, and Jim Thome did it in 2002. And today is Jim Thome's 48th birthday.
How about that? A Hall of Famer. And then, of course, the other 3 are the guys who hit in 8 consecutive games a home run.
Dale Long in 56, Don Mattingly in 1987, and Ken Griffey Jr. in 1993. So Kendrys Morales, if indeed his streak has come to an end, he can certainly take a lot of pride in what he accomplished over those 7 games.
And would a Griffey come within a couple of feet from hitting another home run in that 9th game? Hit a ball right off the top of the wall in center field in that 9th game that went for a double.
Smoke hits it into the air in center. Mullins racing back. Hernandez tagging at second. He'll move over to third. But now there are 2 outs. Let's go down to Arash Madani.
Well, Buck, just to finish the story on Morales, you mentioned he was thinking about it all day. He certainly was. This afternoon he said, look, I don't want to talk about it. I'm pretty superstitious. I don't want to do anything to jinx this. But he did come through for his regular routine. By the afternoon, just to try and get his mind off of things, he was playing Fortnite on his tablet, that video game in the Blue Jays clubhouse. Morales knew the history. He knew what was on the line. Just wasn't his night to make it 8 in a row.
And obviously a tremendous feat to homer in 7 straight, so he has nothing to regret. What a great stretch of games he had. 2 outs now for Randall Grichuk. Grichuk doubled his last time up in the 6th inning. First pitch breaking ball from Paul Fry. Fry is the 3rd Oriole pitcher to work here. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. certainly was rooting for his countrymen, and he looks to be a little bit disappointed.
He had a streak snapped himself this past week.
Foul ball, 11 straight multi-hit games for Gurriel.
Boy, that's too bad that he got hurt too, because he was hitting everything in sight.
No telling how long that streak would have continued. When he hurt himself, it was his 3rd hit of the ball game in Chicago. Took an awkward slide into second base and sprained his ankle. He's just 1 for 10 since coming off the DL.
He had to sit around for a few weeks, and that can upset your timing just a little bit.
0-2. Strike 3 call. Grichuk called out on strikes. The Blue Jays strand a couple. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda at the Model Clearout event. The real victory lap is the drive home.
Number 8 in Baltimore, of course. That's the great Cal Ripken's number. That's part of the retired numbers here in Baltimore. We are in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Orioles have a 7-0 lead. 4 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, and Teoscar Hernandez stays in the ball game. He was a pinch hitter for Curtis Granderson. He takes over in right field. Chase Peterson takes the first pitch outside. Murphy Smith got the final out of the 7th inning. He becomes the oldest Blue Jay player to make his major league debut. 31 years and 2 days old. The previous oldest Blue Jay to make his debut was Darren Hall, who debuted at 29, 290 days back in 1994. Darren Hall was a right-handed relief pitcher as well. Now back on a play.
There were some names on that list from back in the day. You mentioned Lee Gronkevich, another right-handed reliever. was one of the older pitchers to make their major league debut with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, there was a few names on the list. It's pretty interesting now. You forget about guys. Casey Lawrence was on the list. Scott Richmond, Chris Smith, Jimmy Rogers back in 1995. Butch Alberts in 1987 was 28 in 126 days. Mark Hendrickson, he was another guy, left-handed pitcher. He was 28 years and 44 days old. This is a drive to left field. McKinney on the run makes a nice running catch. 2 strides onto the warning track. McKinney has looked sharp in the outfield.
You know, there are certain outfielders, when they run after the baseball, you go, that ball's going to be caught. Off the bat, this looked like extra bases for sure for Peterson, but if you kept your eye on McKinney, you said, that's an out. He's going to find a way, if it stays into the ballpark, to run it down and takes a good route and hauls it in right in front of the wall. Done a good job for the Blue
Making
Jays.
his 6th start in left field. He's made 2 starts in right field. He said he doesn't really have a preference. I like the fact that he's a left-handed throwing left fielder because his glove is to the foul line, and all those line drives off the right end of his bat hook away from the field. And that glove is on that side of his body. I think he can make some good plays.
Lefties too, they slice everything towards the line. We didn't get a chance to see him that much at the beginning of the season when he was with the Yankees. His first game, he crashed into the wall, gave up his body, and had to go on the disabled list. But we've seen enough already now with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and I think John Gibbons wants to see more of him, so you're going to see him play quite a bit down the stretch. Caleb Joseph, the catcher, is 1 for 3. And a single back in the 3rd. The Orioles lead it 7-0. They've outed the Blue Jays 11-6. Another play for Russ Martin. He's had a busy night. He's been flawless over at 3rd. It's a tough shot to the backhand side, and you're right, his arm really plays well over at 3rd base.
Yeah, he's got plenty of arm strength. There's the difficulty in catching it, but then watch this, right on a line across the infield. Oh, wasn't hit too terribly hard by Joseph, gobbled up, and look at the carry he gets on that low throw. He's done a good job over there.
Back to the top of the order, Cedric Mullins, the leadoff man. Tell you a little bit more about Murphy Smith. He began his career with the Oakland A's, a 13th round pick in 2009. He was signed by the Blue Jays in April of 2015. Ground ball. Beginning for Murphy Smith. He's pitched an inning and a 1/3 in his major league debut. to you by the 2018 Honda Odyssey. With available Honda Vac, it always bats cleanup.
Trey Mancini comes up in a big situation, a couple of runners on, and he golfs this ball deep to center field. 392 feet later, he can break it down into his home run trot because he's just hit a 3-run home run to bust this game open. Made it 4-0 at the time. Trey Mancini's blast the drive of the game tonight.
Mancini's had a big night. He also had a 2-run double. Hi, Grandma. I'm here at the game in case you're wondering where I'm at. That's pretty cool. Blue Jay fan saying hi to Grandma back in Canada. Michael Givens will come on to make his 56th appearance of the season.
There's been so much turnover in the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles. Givens 0-6. His first pitch is whacked into center field for a base hit. They've traded their closer, a couple of their setup man, so Givens now has been closing games for the Orioles. So it'll work now for him.
Miss Diaz, it's a base hit, his first hit of the night. He's 1 for 4. Russell Martin's had a double so far tonight. Just missed hitting a home run. Hit that double right off the top of the fence in left. Givens delivers a strike. Blue Jays have seen an awful lot of Michael Givens. This is his 27th career appearance against the Blue Jays. He's 4-1. He's held the opponents to just a 206 average. The Jays have only hit 4 home runs off Givens.
Leads the Oriole relievers in appearances. Was a setup man. Strikeouts. He's also had 15 holds and 4 saves this year.
He strikes out Russell Martin 1 away. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ivanka and Brendan. Thank you very much, Brendan. That's all coming up right after this ball game as Maley goes after the first pitch, and it's a lazy fly ball to right. 2 away.
Givens is getting some work. He last worked 3 days ago, and he blew a save. So Buck Showalter getting him out there as soon as possible.
Oh, Devin Travis trying to keep things alive here in the night. Devin is 0 for 3. The Orioles trying to win for just the 2nd time against the Blue Jays. And now the Jays are down to their final strike. Blue Jays have won 12 of the first 13 they have played, and the Blue Jays have also won the last 10 games between Buck Showalter's Orioles and the Blue Jays. Ground ball. Beckham will go across the diamond. That's the ball game. Baltimore wins the first game of this 3-game series 7-0 and snaps the losing streak at 10. Kendrys Morales sees his home run streak come to an end at 7.
Yeah, Trey Mancini, the star of this game with 5 RBIs, 2 swings of the bat, the 3-run homer and the 2-run double. Jonathan Villar was on base all 4 times tonight. With the story coming in for Blue Jay fans, Kendrys Morales, he just couldn't keep it going with the Blue Jays.